In real life live streams, they are probably some of the best pieces of content that could be consumed on the internet, as you never know what could happen in these stupid streams or what could lead to peak content or peak entertainment. And at the center of IRL live streams, we have people like Poseidon constantly bringing in tons of views and clout almost every single day. Look, although it seems like the opposite, I actually do not like watching streams. I like to touch grass, and I am not as terminally online as it make it seem. Don't get me wrong, I very much am terminally online, but I'm definitely not a degenerate. But despite me not wanting to be parasocial, I have to give credit to Poseidon and say that he has definitely been a top streamer for good reasons as well as bad reasons. He is also a huge target as he has pissed off a lot of people, and because of that, he is also an immediate threat to those around him. Now that we know all of this, or at least now that you've heard the intro, today we are going to be discussing one of the internet's biggest bad boys, Poseidon. Poseidon has always been a somewhat controversial figure in the live streaming sphere of entertainers, influencers, and losers. And he somehow always finds himself to be at the center of some pretty massive controversies too. From drug use to swattings to crypto scams, Poseidon has definitely dipped his toes in all sorts of insane situations, whether it be intentional or not. And to be honest, it's not like it matters because he sort of embraces and lives for all of the stuff that could go right or horribly wrong. And that is probably the root of all of these issues that are either caused by him or end up revolving around him. I don't know if you guys remember, but when Ice first started rising in popularity, he was mostly known on Twitch for RuneScape and IRL streaming. He built a pretty decently sized community at the time and pioneered the trend of IRL streaming during that era of Twitch and streaming in general. This did not come without its downsides though, as Poseidon built a very toxic community that he actually ended up embracing and even approved of. This community would quickly end up being his best friend and also his own worst enemy, but probably not in a way that he would actually consider an enemy. Let me start with swatting first. If I had $1 for every time Poseidon has been swatted, I'd probably be able to be a tier 3 sub, because the amount of times that Ice has been swatted is honestly very hard to keep count of. Maybe I'm exaggerating how often he gets swatted, but it definitely happens more frequently than it happens to every other streamer. I mean, look at this. There's even an article by Dexerto that says Poseidon claims he was swatted daily. I think I got swatted every single day for a year, multiple times a day, Danino said. One time, a SWAT team came to my house 3 times in like 4 hours. While he does get swatted very often, this isn't actually the worst of it. Let's be real for a second. Getting swatted is probably one of the worst things that could happen to anyone, as one wrong move or one wrong precedent could cause catastrophic results depending on law enforcement. These sort of actions have definitely killed people in the past, and the frequency at which it happens to Ice must be insanely fucking nerve-wracking. The worst of it would have to be the time where he wanted to live stream his travel through an airport, which he was really excited about, only for it to be ruined by feds dragging him out of the flight.
Please don't fucking come over to me.
Oh, of course.
Getting pulled off the plane in front of like 200 people. These people think I'm a fucking terrorist or something now.
Police searching an American Airlines plane.
The fucking FBI is interviewing me.
Imagine having so much disdain from people who look at you through a screen that they'd be willing to swat you at an airport. And it was for some huge false threat too. Some douchebag called law enforcement and claimed that Poseidon had a bomb. At least that is how I remember it. And stuff like this from him is not uncommon. Poseidon has been swatted on numerous occasions and has even been threatened by a supposed member of the mafia when he was at a restaurant. And if this was actually the case, it was because someone called up to specifically throw Poseidon under the bus.
I'm getting about 30 calls about you on my phone, and I'm a gangster, so you better fucking leave here right now.
Now, while I do have to say that this isn't Poseidon's fault directly, he sort of bred and cultivated a culture of people that love doing this time for the sake of entertainment.
I'm making this video as my apology to Twitch in the hopes that somebody will listen. 3 years ago, I was banned on Twitch for enabling a very toxic community. Among
the list of terrible things that he has been a part of, either directly or indirectly, this one being more direct, is that he literally scammed his audience out of $500,000 with some stupid ass cryptocurrency called CX coin, and he didn't even care for the people who lost out on their money. He just took the money, ran with no care in the world. I mean, even Logan Paul is at least pretending to care, pretending like he will actually have a resolution to all of the money that his fans were scammed out of. But Poseidon literally said that he would rather look out for himself instead of ever offering refunds or anything in return to his fans. He even outright said that he would not be giving anything back.
If you want the answer, yeah, I could give the money back. It is within my power. But I'm gonna look out for myself and not do that. I don't like know what else to say. That's just the most honest answer.
The way he defrauded these people is actually disgusting too. I mean, scamming your fans out of $500,000 is already terrible, but the false promise he had offered for this money without ever having an intention of actually doing anything good for anyone is incredibly evil. He made this crypto coin as sort of a means of protection for other people in the community. To put it simply, the intent he had promised everyone was to help other streamers and people gain donations and support through crypto. Obviously, this was never going to be the case. The worst part about it is that he promised that it would not be a scam, with the intent always being to pull out. I mean, it is largely speculated that he pulled out a good amount from earlier stages in his projects to buy a Tesla, because apparently around the same time he had bought a Tesla, a good chunk of money disappeared from the coin's liquidity pool. And recently, the list of terrible, immoral things that he has been directly or indirectly responsible for just keeps on growing. So about a week ago, as you guys may have heard, Ice Poseidon was live streaming with, I believe, Sam Pepper, and that entire situation was a huge mess. Apparently they had hired an escort to get down and dirty with someone, and many people found this questionable because their entire interaction was being streamed for everyone to see, while Sam Pepper and Ice looked on through a camera. This whole thing is incredibly creepy, and it's actually very questionable to be doing something like this, but it is a common theme with Ice that he'll allow anything to happen if it means that he will consistently get views for it. At first, there was a misconception that there was a hidden camera, but it was actually brought to her attention since the beginning that she was being recorded and streamed live, in which she received an additional payment to agree to being streamed live. So while both adults did consent to this, apparently she was tipped off about the intents behind this entire interaction and decided that she would withdraw from the entire situation, which is honestly respectable. I don't think she really knew the gravity of the situation at hand either. Subsequently, Ice was actually swatted shortly after leaving the hotel or building they were staying in. Police confronted them and they were actually arrested for sexual harassment, which I find incredibly ironic because as far as I know and as far as Ice Poseidon said, both of these things were unrelated to each other. It just so happens that he was arrested under false pretenses and he didn't actually do anything illegal.
What the hell is that?
Constable Georgia Road from the Brisbane City Police Station, mate. Come over here. Okay, Constable Georgia Road from the Brisbane City Police Station. You're both currently under arrest for sexual assault. So come over here. Yes, seriously.
No.
Stand over here.
What?
Whoa, hold on.
Sexual
Who's
assault.
sexually assaulting?
Mate, just step over here.
Oh, yeah, sure, no
Step
I'll be
over
fine, right? Oh, no more.
People were speculating whether Ice Poseidon was arrested for attempting to record this escort, but that doesn't appear to be the case going off the information that I discussed, but correct me if I'm wrong. Was this situation incredibly disgusting and creepy? Yes. Was it illegal? Probably not. Was it against community guidelines of Kick? Also yes, and this is where people started to find more issues. So according to Kick TOS, it is against TOS to actually solicit or film adult activities such as that part of Ice Poseidon's stream. And people were outraged that there were streamers representing Kick such as Ice Poseidon doing something like that, being let off the hook without so much as a warning. As a matter of fact, for those who were viewing this stream, they saw the Kick CEO and partial owner himself actually spamming laughing emojis in chat throughout the entire situation, leading more people to question the sanctity of Kick as a platform to carry their business on. A lot of people spoke out against his behavior, even calling out Ice directly. Eventually, a whole Twitter space was formed where Ice apologized for what happened.
That I have made a severe lapse of judgment, and I really want to apologize for everything that I've ever done in life. And I know that sometimes I've made a mistake, but the mistakes can be rectified with a little bit of charity. So I've decided to donate $1 million to veterans and to people that need help in this society. Because you know what? There's nothing else better than that. Especially people on Twitter who complain about nothing.
All right, well, Ice, thank you for speaking up. Is there anything, aside from that, is there anything
Psych, fuck Twitter, fuck Cancelist, fuck everybody who gets mad about bullshit. Y'all are fucking whack as shit who try to get mad about shit. Not gonna lie, that's lame as hell. Y'all should probably get a life. Honestly, think I come in here apologize to you motherfuckers. Yo, honestly, Kick's number one, Twitch sucks, but everybody on Twitter, you suck.
Well, we kind of had, I guess. we were almost there, I guess.
Despite how terrible of a person Ice is, and despite how little respect I have for people like him, this was actually pretty fucking based. The whole response he had for these people was hilarious. It was actually quality entertainment. Sorry to get a bit out of order, but like a day after the whole stream Ice had with that woman, Kick didn't really have much to say. They just wrote up a huge nothing burger saying that they're still trying to figure out what they should allow on the platform and that they're ignorant and clueless. Well, essentially. To this day, Ice Poseidon hasn't really seen a lot of repercussion for his actions on Kick and still keeps doing some insane shit on stream. Is it problematic? Yes. Is it entertaining? Also yes. But he endorses all of this to an extent and genuinely doesn't care about the consequences or how he affects other people. He embraces all of this and keeps boosting his numbers. I mean, when you're making a fuck ton of money for not giving a fuck, I guess it just makes it incredibly easy to just let all of this happen without a care in the world. I mean, just recently he streamed some drunk dudes fighting, and I'm pretty sure that entertained thousands of people. Who is he to stop any of the bad shit that he or others do if it means it's easy entertainment? Personally, the way I see it, and the way many of us in the commentary sphere see it, we are all chasing the same thing. We know Ice isn't a good person, but the stuff that he and others do on the platform is easy content. Is Ice Poseidon a bad person? Objectively speaking, yes. He uses this to his advantage as well, and honestly, I don't blame him for it. We will be seeing a lot more insane shit as time goes on, so I think we should all sit back and enjoy the show. Thanks for watching, everyone. Love you all. Later.